Hashem Yisborach. Rosh Chodesh Adar Beis Tafshin Ayin Vov Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. This Chodesh, we'd like to speak and discuss about this Chodesh. Everybody knows Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. But what I found is that most people ignore this statement of Chazal. The only application I found of this Chazal is that if a guy, Nebuch, got caught in a court case and it worked out on Adar, he said, Baruch Hashem, at least is an Adar. If a guy had to go through a medical procedure in Adar, Baruch Hashem, was an Adar. But I rarely see people put into practice this aims of Chazal, Mishenichnis Adar Marbim B'Simcha. The only place we find that this is made popular is where? Is where, Naki? Where do we find this thing is made popular? In 3-1A, kindergartens. They make some businesses looking for a new way, new twist to make some more parnasa, draw customers. So they are the ones that push it. Marketing, the marketing tool. But the shailish, that wasn't the purpose, that wasn't the mechavan of this statement. Now, what state in this Chazal? First, you have to understand what every month has something. Every month represents something. But the Chazal tell us that in Chodesh Adar there's a special kesher with Simcha more so than all the other months. And that's something to contemplate. Because Simcha is something that every one of us seeks and most of us find to be elusive. You have some people who aren't sad, but they're not necessarily with Simcha. Chodesh Adar is the Chodesh of Simcha. Now, is that a chiddush? The answer is that's a chiddush. You know why? Because if you were to ask me, what would I say the month of Simcha is most related to Simcha? You would say Pesach. What would you say? Tishrei. Torah. I would say Chodesh Nisan. That's what I would say. You know why? Because that's the birthday of Klal Yisroel. That's the Haschola Tzah, Klal Yisroel. That's the Chodesh Ha'aviv. If you would ask me, I would tell you that Adar is the last month that I would think is associated with Simcha. If anything, Adar comes out, it's the last month of the year. And I would think the Chodesh Hazel Lechem, Rosh Chodesh, that's the Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of all the Chodesh is the time for Simcha. But I would never dream and imagine that in the last month of the year, what I would call the end of the year, the end of the term, that's where the Simcha lies. That is a gewaldige chiddush. But you have to know, there's nothing about Adar that is not a chiddush. That is the whole essence of the month of Adar. Now, because it's the month of Simcha, which will explain what that means, you understand that whenever there are big opportunities, the HaRav puts his kaiches, puts forth his efforts to make sure that people don't utilize that opportunity, and they don't get that opportunity. If you'll ask most people, go to most Bachar right now, in yeshivas, what will they tell you? They will tell you that I'm starting to feel a little burnt out. Ask in the light, I'll tell you, my batteries are feeling depleted. I'm getting tired, I'm looking forward to Bein Asmanim already, I'm looking forward to the end of the winter. But you have to know that this is all tachbulos hayetzer, to make sure that any time that it affords a great, fantastic opportunity, that most people lose it because they don't deserve it and they don't aggressively seek it out. Now, somebody would tell you that in the month of Adar, you could make a lot of money. You could be sure everybody would perk up. You would see the smiles, you would see the stride in the step. Everybody would be walking around like a shtick of bezrizes. But you have to understand that Chodesh Adar affords you simcha. That's the chiddush nifla of Chodesh Adar. Now, Chodesh Adar is a dark month, naturally. Chodesh Adar is not naturally a month of simcha. The simcha in Chodesh Adar itself was a gewaltige chiddush. Because it was the Chodesh asher nepach lohem miyogein l'simcha. So most of us relate to the Havamina, Haman's Havamina. We're going with Haman's Hanachas. And we agree to Haman. Yeah, Adar is a sad month. Adar's knocking down her. Adar's not the month of Simcha. And if you go with Haman's Havamina, no, you end up with garnish. You end up like Haman. Haman's Havamina became his maskana. See, Haman's Havamina was that Chodesh Adar is a bad month. And the answer was, it was a terrible month. But Hashem made sure, he never dreamed that it would be terrible for him. He thought it was terrible for the enemy. So a beautiful word that says, the mazel, when he saw the mazel dug him, he said, this is the great month, I'm going to be Matzliach. But he missed the boat. One of the uniquenesses about dugim is, now doesn't work. When they open up fish go to catch other fish. They swim to catch other fish. Now, when a fish goes into a fish's mouth, how does it work? There's a big fish chase after the little fish, and it swallows him up, puts him in his stomach. So if you open a fish's stomach, what would you expect to find how the fish is lying? Fish don't chew stuff up. But you expect that big fish chases the little fish to find food. You would expect that when you open the stomach, you would find that the little fish is in this big fish's stomach, facing the same direction the big fish is. Because big fish chases little fish tries to run away, big fish catches up, swallows it up, pulls it in the mouth. Doesn't work like that. Whenever you open up a fish up, you know what you find? It's always the head of the fish facing the tail. The big fish is facing one direction, and the fish inside the stomach is facing the other direction. Why? Because the way it works is like this. The big fish starts to chase little fish. The little fish run away. Little fish run away. But as he's running away, there are other fish swimming over in that area also. But But they don't run away from the big fish. You know why? They don't think the big fish is coming after them. And before they know it, they're swallowed in their kishkis. So the fish that they were going after gets away. He goes into somebody else's mouth. And the other fish who thought he wasn't in any danger ends up in this big fish's mouth. So when you open up his stomach, you see, this is Haman. Haman thought he's the big fish. He saw Mazel dug him, I'm the big fish. My word is the word, no one's going to argue with me. He became the biggest guy. So he said, I'm going to go chase after the Yid. I'm going to eat those fish. You forgot one thing, you can't chase the fish. The fish had to come to your mouth. So what ended up happening? He ended up being swallowed up. So he thought he was electrical. That's what a person has to know. A person has to know that Chodesh Adar, it's such a month of chidushim, because if you don't know how to look at it, for some it's going to be Yom Vaynochim, and for some it's going to be Yom HaSimcha. You want to make sure you're on the side that it says, you want to be on the side that you're getting invested in Simcha. You want to be on the side, the Chazal tells us, let me give you a little secret, that's the sugya, that's your sugya. For the Goyim, for the people who are not with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for them it's able v'yodem v'nochem. Talking like that. But for the people who want to avoid this Hashem, this could be Simcha. Now, let's understand what brings about Simcha. Somebody would ask you, what causes Simcha? What would you say, Ames? What gives you Simcha? I'm asking you. You know, you like Simcha, right? Yeah. So, what makes you happy? You don't know? And everything that makes a person happy is a common denominator. What makes you happy? The bed, pillow. What makes you happy? Ellie.
What the Eiler would say? Food, snack.
No, but what's the assumption? What makes me? What's the common denominator? No. What's the common denominator? The common denominator in anything that a person has simcha is a chiddush. If something that a person wanted, let's make a difference what it is. It may be a bed, it may be food, it may be a new car, but you always want a chiddush. That's what makes a person. Is a person looking for something? Also, he comes to the store and he finds, get it. He wants your clothes, I found it, simcha. You don't find simcha, people don't get simcha from eating cereal in the morning. Because it's not a chiddush. When two people meet each other, they say, no, what's nice? The guy said, the Torah still has 613 mitzvahs. So what do you say? I asked him, what's nice? I want to. What are you looking for? You have anything new? Anything new? You heard anything new? You want to steal his chachas. His chachas is equal to simcha. And you have to know that when it says Ozi Mole Schoik Pinu, that when we come to the next world, it's Ozi Mole Schoik Pinu. The reason is because there's going to be chidushim every single second. In the next world, it says it's going to be nischadish to us, new and new and new and new and new glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, new giluyim. It's l'dulosei ein cheker kipshutai, and that is going to be the unending chiddush. It's in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says simcha b'ma'onim. It says in Chazal, right? Simcha b'ma'onim. What makes Hashem simcha b'ma'onim? What's his happy? So you know what the Kolboy says, the Rishonim said? Because every time new malachim are created from people's ma'asim tovim, that's the source of the simcha. Something new. Come home, you didn't expect to see a child come to visit you. It's a simcha. This biggest simcha is somebody was sick and it gets better. Oh, that's a simcha. But if somebody wakes up and says, I'm healthy today, but you were healthy yesterday, that's not a simcha. A simcha is you had a headache, and your simcha headache went away, now you feel the simcha. But the person has to understand that, because what you're looking for in life is simcha. When my Zaydi gave an eitzah to somebody, he said, if a guy is having a hard week, and his learning feels bummed out, you know what Zaydi said? Give himself a little simcha. Go to the bakery, buy yourself a piece of cake. Buy a piece of cake. Enjoy it, go back to learning. You just gave yourself a little shot of simcha. It's a little simcha, but today we like big simchas. When you go out to the restaurant, we go out for a day, you want to go to Florida now, Shabbos, you want to go away for Shabbos, you want to go for Shabbatim. But you said, take a little simcha, give yourself a little schachis. That's what a person has to understand. Now, it says HaKadosh Baruch Hu enjoys chiddush Torah. The neshama enjoys chiddush Torah. Shabbos goes through, it says the neshama goes back to Shemayim, the neshama Yisroel, it says, no, what maher chiddush? That's what the neshama Yisroel said. They asked the neshama, what were you mechadish? Garnished. Same chon, same kugel, same, liver. That liver was a little off this week, the chon was a little better, it was a little different. Sweeter, a little saltier, a little more peppery. That's Chiddush Torah, Chiddushim, the whole essence of Chodesh Purim is the greatest Chiddush in the ganze Welt. You know why? Because what happened? The Yidden fell. Klal Yisrael sinned many sins. They were nenshu with kol mini einshim, and then they sinned again. They were nenemi. They joined the Suda of Achashverosh, and they were nenem for the Suda of Yisroel. It was nigzer aleihim, the worst zeir in history. Lahashmid, laharoik, laabe, eskol. I mean, there couldn't be a bigger spitz opposite of simcha. You're losing everything. You take away everything from it. You're going to lose hakoil, bakoil, mikol, kol. And you have to understand that this gzeira was already sealed in Shemayim. There's in Shemayim was already basic. There's no schus kiyum for Klal Yisrael. It was already sealed. It's not just another patch. It's not another punishment. Not just another thing. It's the curtain call. That's all. They disassociate, they disconnected themselves from HaKadosh Baruch Hu legamri. Chas v'sholom HaKadosh Baruch Hu was kavei atzmam, and you have a chelik of the Rishoyim, and they're clear. This is like serious stuff. And then what happened? The Neshel. Somebody teaches, tell me what was the Neshel called? What Neshel Purim is? Tchiyas HaMesim. That was what it was. You're brought back from the dead. And not brought back is just we'll let you walk around, crawl around the floor. But we let you walk around and dance and party and be besimcha. Mamish, the chiddush is a bria mechadish. You're a new person. It's not baruch reifachol. It's baruch miyoytzer Adar. Yoytzer am Yisroel. So what did Am Yisrael do? How did they respond to that? They were makabel matan Torah mechadish. A whole new kabbalah of Torah. Hashem, we're new folks. New kabbalah. Old Torah, forget about that. That's how they were moided to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how they expressed their idea. It's kimu v'kiblu. They were mekayim that which they're already makabel. Now that koyach of chiddush that Hashem provided them with, created by the Klal Yisroel, azam a new dedication, a new Kabbalah Torah that was revealed even bigger than the first Kabbalah. So you have to know, in this month of Purim, Adar arrives, it's a month that's tremendous, affords tremendous opportunities of simcha. The darkness, that feeling of yogoy v'anach, that feeling of, is all echoes of Haman's shmek in Chodesh Adar. It's the end, it's the Seif. The Yidden are down. This is not a good time for the Jews. This is going to be the time when Lahashmid Laharig is going to be easy for us. So they're going to be the bad matzah. Our Avigdor in this wonderful month is to turn that month into a month of chiddush. It's a time for a person to make this month into a month of the greatest chiddushim, to re-begin and start all over again. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you have to say to yourself, I have 4 more weeks. In these 4 weeks, I'm going to use the mazel of this month. The mazel of the month is dugim. What's the kayach of dugim? That they increase and multiply. Means it's a time for tremendous chiddush. From one dag you can get the whole slew of dugim. Nothing produces like dugim produce. That means the ability for a person to accomplish and to produce is greatly multiplied in this month. Chodesh Adar is a koyach of his chadshus, and the koyach of his chadshus is that if a person puts forth his efforts, what it's going to produce, it's much greater than the earlier chadashim could produce. In the other chadashim, you put in a certain effort, and you get back. You always get it. Today, you put in a little, you get back a lot. You get back much more than you expect. Because if you're married with simcha, Hashem says, I'm going to show you something. So you have to understand that this is the month that you don't want to drop the ball. You don't want to be caught up in this massive where you feel overwhelmed. So what's the answer? What's the answer? The answer is that every one of us should be mekabel upon himself to undertake new efforts. Call it the effort of renewal. Renew your efforts to make this month a great month. Also, let's undertake, you're going to be mechadish chidushim in tefillah. You're going to be mechadish chidushim in learning. Not saying, okay, I finished this matter of Hashem, I'm not finished. No, start again. Remember, it was once by my Rebbe Meir, SHLITA, and he finished the Masechta around the beginning of Chodesh Adar. I said, Rebbe, what are we going to learn now? He said, we're going to start a new Masechta. I said, the Masechta we're going to learn next month? No, he says. A ganze neue Chadshus. And we learned Masechta Midas. Created a ganze neue Chadshus. And we'll have to do the same thing soon. If we haven't finished the second paragraph, maybe we'll have to start as Chadshus. But I need you all to first get that into your mind frame. I was just guiding a person recently, changed, who never learned in yeshivas, but he learned, not real yeshivas, and he learned, and he was a person who learned many blot, hundreds of blot, and he finally decided he would like to get into some real learning. And it took him a long time to find the right shidduch. He found the right Rebbe, the right person to guide him. We helped him out. And he got into it. And he called me last night and he said, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Now I got a little taste of what I was missing. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I just finished learning every night for 2 weeks a brisker of a David Kaisis. He's been living with somebody for about 2 months now, and he's been going line by line in the Tiferes, carving each line out. They went to the HaRav. He said, I chazed it over many times myself. He said, now I understand what's making that simcha. Now I understand why people are learning this way and they're not learning the other way. I always looked at them and that, what are you doing? And the Emma says he learned a lot of, he tried a number of times with different rebbeim before I guided him, and each guy drained him a cup. And I told him what the answer was. The people wanted that simcha, but they never got that simcha. You know why? The people who taught you never got, they knew they were supposed to sit on the Gemara. They were supposed to hack around, but they don't know how to get the simcha out of it. So they thought if you hack azoy, you turn the pages upside down and backwards, and open the book from this side, the book from that side, somehow that makes you a simcha. So you open the book straight, you have to turn the pages, I mean you want better with simcha. But for the first time what you're doing is a kleich of chiddush. So you realize what you're doing now? The Gemaras you learned before, the Gemaras were always there. Your mind never processed those Gemaras. At minimum, what your mind is it reviewed the words that the page was printed on the page. But now you develop your mind, you pushed your mind in a certain direction to learn a subject of Gemara through somebody who plummeted the depths of the sugya, and you managed to twist your mind and stretch your mind in all directions, and all of a sudden you discovered a whole new mind in yourself. That's Rosh Chodesh I told him what appropriate time of the year to finish the Azab Riskirov. Time Azamin Team. Let us not lose this avoid. Everybody should take a parak, take a sugya, take something and varsa charayim. Learn it slow, learn it through, plug on it, and be machadish to yourself that this month doesn't have to be a month. Instead of being a month of burnout, turn it into a flaming month that is slavus. You'll go through the month, you'll end the year on a high, and then you'll be zeicha to the ultimate rebirth of Klal Yisrael in Chag HaNissim.